Morning everyone, and welcome back to the Runpreneur vlog, where we discuss all things entrepreneurship and running. It's a snowy, cold, feels like -8 degrees today, so extremely cold, extremely slippy underfoot, so running conditions are pretty treacherous. It's Sunday run day today. We discuss all things running, and today I want to tell you about my new ultra challenge and how I intend to train for it. So as always, if you like this episode, please give it a like and a subscribe, and let's get started. So, my new ultra challenge. Well, we're still in the global COVID pandemic, although our national lockdown, the vaccine's been rolled out, so it's looking likely that all over 50s will be vaccinated by the end of May. So you'd like to think that we'll possibly be moving towards kind of an easement of restrictions in the lockdown that's coming up to kind of Easter time this year. However, that doesn't really do a lot for running events and running challenges. So normally I'd run a big event in the spring, and I'd run a big event in the autumn. Well, the autumn I'm already in for the London Marathon because we got pushed back based on the virtual. So this year I just wasn't sure about what was happening, so I didn't want to book anything too far away. So a good friend of mine, who's actually my running coach, Neil Marsh, he's a hugely inspirational guy. I mean, he's got a podcast himself, I think, called Fat Man to Iron Man. So it kind of tells you a little bit about his backstory just from the title of his podcast. But he's done some monumental running challenges over the years, and his latest one, which is going to be in support of the charity Mind, very relevant at the moment with so many people struggling with their mental health during lockdown. He's going to be running the whole of the Hope Alive tour. Now, I haven't told you about the Hope Alive tour yet, but I will do in a future episode. Basically, there was a relay team of like 9 of us who ran from Hull. If you're not familiar with the UK geography, Hull is up in the northeast of the UK, right across the country to the west of where Liverpool is, across kind of the Pennines and kind of our hilly terrain to kind of get there. Then all the way down to Nottingham, which is kind of the Midlands, and then back down to Cambridge, which is about 322 miles, I believe. So we did it as a relay between 9 of us, and I churned out 100 miles in kind of 3 days with about 3 hours sleep. So that's I ran a bit more than some, but that was the kind of mileage that I produced in those 3 days. Well, Neil Marsh is going to do the whole thing on his own over a 7-day week, so in aid of Mind, which is a phenomenal cause and an unbelievable challenge. You know, he's basically doing, hopefully I've got the figures right here, but I think he's doing somewhere in the region of 40 to 45 miles every day for 7 days straight. So I thought, well, he's got a challenge lined up, he's going to organise it. Well, I can try and jump on and help him out with it and kind of promote it, push it out, and kind of be a challenge for me, because running 45 miles in a day, however you slice and dice it, is a challenge. So I said that I'm going to jump on with him for one of his days, and I'll run the ultra with him. I'll do it barefoot style, so that'll be the first I've ever run barefoot. But I'll also probably do, or try and arrange some kind of world record as part of it, in line with the record attempts that I've got kind of in my schedule, and we'll push it as much as we could. I mean, my fundraising activities has always been around kind of children's charities, but after being through what we've been through here during COVID and lockdown, and seeing so many people struggle with mental health, having their livelihoods decimated, it just kind of makes me think, well, I need to try and help a charity that's going to help these people, and Mind is one of the best. So that's what I'm looking to do. It'll be the last week of May. I haven't decided what day it'll be yet and what leg of the journey I'm going to be doing with Neil Marsh, but it's going to be 45 miles of pain with in barefoot running attire. I'll try and probably combine it with some form of marathon as I've stated, but sorry, some sort of world record as I've stated. Got a sore neck, so cold. And we'll be streaming it the whole event again, because I was gutted with the world record that I got for being the fastest marathon runner just as a ninja. The hard work and the promotion of that live event stream, we put so much into that, and it was just starting to get traction, and I lost the stream. So what we're going to try and do is stream it again, have a backup stream as well. So I have a couple of people videoing the whole event. I have the logistical side of these challenges are brutal, but we've done it once, so hopefully this one will be easier. So yeah, we're going to give it a good go. We're going to try and raise as much awareness for the charity, raise as much money for them, break a world record, give my friend the support he needs for his ultra challenge. I mean, his goal is to run the Western States, which is like probably the most famous ultra marathon, 100-mile ultra marathon in the Western States of the US. It starts really high, a lot of elevation. It's a crazy ultra. It will probably be on my hit list at some point in the future, but it's very high on his. So he's trying to train up and do as many of these kind of long distance stuff as possible to try and enhance his likelihood of getting accepted. So how am I going to train for it? Well, how do you train for running 45 miles in a day? It's a good question. I'm going to stick to what I know, what I do best. I'm still doing my running every day, minimum of 5k every day, longer at weekends. I did originally set it for a year. I've decided to extend that to 1,000 days, and we'll see where we are. Because it just does so much for me from a positivity perspective. So I run to Tanda race training. It's a little bit different here because I'm not going for a time. I'm not going for a target time, marathon time or anything, where I would normally run very specifically to Tanda in terms of race predictions. But I'm just going to stick to Tanda and just try and keep in marathon PB shape basically. So I'll try and keep in kind of sub 3 hour 30 minute marathon pace, not the actual ultra but the training for that, and hope that will keep me in sufficient fitness to get me through that. Now I'm fairly sure it's going to be a little bit strange because I'm running with somebody else, so it's not me on my own, so there will be some walking, no doubt. There'll be some stop-start stuff in the challenge, but it's kind of normal in ultras. You generally walk the hills when you're doing ultra marathons anyway, so there'll be a little bit of stop-start, but we'll try and do it as quickly as we can. But my main aim is not really from a selfish perspective on this, it's mainly for the charity, and it's also to support my good friend and give him as much publicity as I possibly can, whilst giving me something to aim for as well. So I think it's a win-win-win. Those of you unfamiliar with Tanda as a race calculator, it's just type in Tanda race calculator into Google, it'll tell you. But ultimately, in a super high level overview, it's predominantly geared for marathon times. You can do it over the longer distance stuff as well, but what it does is that gone are the days we have to do crazy mileage, okay, to train. The argument is there's a correlation between weekly mileage and weekly average pace. So the argument is that you could run 150 miles in a week really slow and you could still be a super fast marathon runner, either sub 3 hours, or you could run 20 miles a week really quick and be a sub 3 hour marathon runner. So it's factoring in the value of endurance in your muscles for the longer stuff, and it also factors in the value of speed endurance for the shorter weekly mileage. So, and it all plots, so you punch your figures in every week, how many miles you've done for the week and what's the average pace that you've run those miles in. You punch that in for the week and it will predict where you are in terms of fitness wise and what times you can be expected. Now I've done this on a couple of occasions for races, and I've been within a minute of the time it predicted, so it's unbelievably accurate. Now there is a caveat to all this. If you obviously go out and run a race and you just throw your strategy out the pram and you kind of run it kind of go out too fast, or your race strategy is flawed, then inevitably that will have an impact. But if you run a sensible race within to the kind of pace that it's suggesting, then you should achieve that. And I run to heart rate, so I can always protect my kind of work effort. So I'll be running to Tanda. I'm going to start doing a little bit more in terms of documentation of my running stats, so that you can be aware of where I'm up to. But yeah, so I just want to talk to you about my 40-mile ultra marathon challenge with my good friend Neil Marsh, in aid of the wonderful charity Mind, which supports people with mental health challenges. And I think it's so important in today's climate, with what's going on in the world, to kind of help anybody you possibly can who are going through these issues. And my vlog is always been about helping entrepreneurs overcome these mental health related challenges. But the bigger picture is COVID has opened the world of mental health to so many others that didn't ever think they'd be there. And so it's a charity that I definitely want to help support on this occasion, and try and get more word about what it's about. We'll do a lot of commentary about the charity whilst we're doing the event. Try and raise as much awareness, as much money, and try and help as many people. So that's pretty much it for me today. As always, if you've got any questions about what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, drop me a comment. I'll respond to everyone. If it's a bigger question, I will do a separate vlog episode and I'll tag you in. If this is irrelevant to you, no drama, just unfollow me and it'll stop cluttering up your social feed. You don't have to unfriend. Unfollowing normally stops your feed being cluttered with my content. But before you do that, please check out the Runpreneur YouTube channel, because I do a different topic on every day of the week. So just because today's topic isn't relevant, there could be tomorrow's or the day after's could be very relevant to you. So check out the YouTube channel, because all of the topics are nicely catalogued neatly by playlist. It's a completely free resource, and hopefully there'll be stuff in there that will help you in the future. Check out the links in my bios as well. I'm often putting new free resources and stuff in there as well. My first one was the 70-step process for repurposing, reformatting, optimising your social media content across all platforms. So if you want to be omnipresent out there, then and see the process that I go through every day with my team to get my content everywhere, then check that out. Hopefully it will help you in some capacity. So what's left to say is the Runpreneur vlog was set up to help entrepreneurs, business owners overcome the emotions of stress, overwhelm and anxiety by using exercise, or in my case running, as a release valve, release mechanism, to kind of relieve these pressures on a daily, weekly basis in order to keep control, keep clarity, keep focus on the bigger picture. The ones that don't have a release mechanism, pressure builds in the form of stress. It's like pressure in a pipe. It builds and builds and builds. The stress tends to overwhelm, it builds and builds and builds, turns to anxiety, and then before you know it, boom, the pipe bursts. Entrepreneur has a breakdown, and if that happens, then the business is going to break down as well. So now I've been there, perhaps not to the levels of anxiety attacks and mental health breakdowns, but I've certainly been depressed. I've certainly been rock bottom. I've lost multiple businesses because of my inability to manage these emotions. I've lost multiple business partners. I've almost been bankrupt because of this, and it's a dark place, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. So I'm passionate about talking about it and helping people, and since I've introduced this routine in my life of running and vlogging, which is like my running is, I get so much positive about running, but the vlogging is like counselling for me. It's amazing, clears my head, and it keeps everything in perspective for me. Is there's no kind of coincidence that I've made more progress in the last kind of 8 months that I've been doing this than I have in the previous 3 to 4 years when I wasn't doing it. So I feel that I can pass this information on to other people. So if you are one of these people, it's really slippy by the way, who's struggling with this, drop me a message, okay? There's no catch here. I don't sell anything. I'm not selling you anything at all. I just want to jump on a call and try and help. And if I can give you a few steps that you can implement into your daily or weekly routines, then this vlog will be 100% worthwhile. And many have taken me up on this already, and we've made a real positive difference to so many. And like I said, I always said, if this vlog just helps one entrepreneur saves one business, it's been 1,000,000% worthwhile. So that's it from me today. As always, if you like this content, please give it a like, a comment and a subscribe. If you want to see more similar content, please check out the playlist link on the YouTube channel where you can see all similar content. And all that's left to say, as always, is stay positive, stay happy, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.